Sometimes in life you just have these questions that kind of haunt you for a long while. And for me, that question has been, what would I do if I could just redo all of it again? If I could go back in 2024 when I was starting my 11th grade and, do everything all over again. Um, the first thing, no bullshit, I'll just get right to the point. The first thing that I would avoid is joining tuitions and coachings. You see, we feel like that is the safest option, to join coachings and tuitions, because they promise that they are going to complete your syllabus, they promise a hell lot of things. But once you join there, they're just there to maximize their profits. If you don't understand a concept, it's not their liability anymore. They're going to blame you for that. You're going to waste your time for transportation. You're going to waste your time in going there, coming back. You're going to waste your time there. And then in the classroom, it's not a concentrated 2 hours studies. If you are going for like a 2 hours class, for example, it's not going to be a very dense 2 hours full of proper studies. Instead, if you really want to maximize your output, what you can do is study at home. It's not gonna be a big difference. At the end of the day, you all know, man. You all know. At the end of the day, you have to do self studies. Even in class 10, no matter how many tutors you have had, at the end of the day, you'll have to learn it up yourself, right? You'll have to understand it. And nowadays, I'll I'll say it, man. The most of the things that I've learned, it is from YouTube. So for commerce, I'd definitely say go for Shubham Jagdish. He's don't you don't have to buy courses. He provides courses, but again, I think he's a good person and the things that he's teaching is good. But I do not promote getting into courses, because yeah, but if you think that you are in utter need of a course, if you need someone to just guide you every day, you do not have any drive of your own, then you can go join a course. It's still better than going for offline classes, because offline classes feel like more work. They feel like you're doing more work. Because you get exhausted, right? You get very exhausted after you are done with school. Then you have to come back, you have to do your coaching. You That was my routine. I would come back from school, and then I'd just have my food, and then I'd study, and then for an hour or so. But that study session wouldn't be the best, because firstly I was running so low on sleep that I was very exhausted, and I needed some sleep in the afternoon at least, but I couldn't afford to sleep in the afternoon, because that was the only time where I could study. After that, even then, I would be having very bad headaches from school, because people, the kids at school, they keep shouting and yelling, and there's just so much noise at school, and I have migraine, so I just get throbbing headaches in the afternoon, and I would study with that. And you can understand it's not the best situation or the best way to study. You need to at least have rest to register what you are reading, or to actually learn anything. So that is one point people really miss, that people keep saying that try to cut down your sleep less hours, sleep for even more less hours, and they really don't focus on how much a good night's sleep can actually help you in your academics. It will help you to memorize way better. Studying for 5 hours when you are tired, and studying for 5 hours when you're energized and you have had a proper sleep. Those are two different things. You can memorize so many things, and which one do you think is going to be more productive? Obviously when you study after you have had enough rest, right? So that is one thing. So after I would come back from school, I would not get time to study. I would not get time to sleep. I'd study while I was still very tired, and then I would go to my coaching, and it would take me around like 40 minutes to reach there, and the process was pretty exhausting because I had to walk to the bus stand, and from there you had to so I had to go there at the bus stop, and from there I had to take a bus and to the auto stand, and from there I would take the auto. Then I'd get down and walk to the coaching, and there the coaching was again exhausting, and they would miss a lot of points, not solve all the doubts, and then kind of sometimes they would do it and then they'd blame sometimes. So initially in 11 it wasn't so bad, the coaching was pretty good, they were solving our doubts, they were holding extra classes. But then somehow in class 12, the I don't know what happened with the efficiency, but they just stopped solving doubts, the teachers. And your accounts class was there was like multiple classes going on at the same time. How can you have an efficient class when like the same teacher is teaching class 11 ke bachcho ko, and then is also teaching class 12 kids, right? And there are also class 7 8 kids, like kids from class 7 8. So that's not how you optimize your study hours. So my most efficient study hours for all my life, I had studied till like till 10 o'clock, like 7. I would always start studying around 6:37, and I would study to sometimes on a daily basis around 10 11. And when exams are nearing, I would study from 6 to 12, 6 hours. Okay, that was my routine, and I was a straight A student. I was a straight A student for all my life except these 2 years, where 11 was very hectic, yet I was still getting time to study, because back then the coaching schedule was such that the classes would end by I think 7, so 6:30 or 7. So I would get back to home by 8 o'clock, so I'd still have like 2 hours. And if I if I stayed up longer, then till like 1 or 2 o'clock, I would also get time to do my assignments. But when it came to class 12, my routine was so bad that the tuitions would start a little bit late. I don't know, sometimes they would have 2 classes together. So in such cases, I would come back home around 9:30 to 9:40, which is quite late, and then I barely had time to study after that. But I was very exhausted by the time I reached home back after my coaching, and I had to do my assignments in this time period. So I would push myself to stay up at night sometimes till 3 4, and then I would get and then I had to get up at 7 because I had school. So sometimes 6:30 as well, so it depended. Like my parents would be like, just get up a little earlier, because I had to like do everything in a hurry if I got up at 7. But anyway, that was something. But yeah, so this is how hectic my schedule was, and I was barely still getting any time to study, you see, because there was like 4 to 5 hours going away from my day for just traveling and sitting in the tuition, where like there was barely anything happening. And I would just beg them to like clear my doubts, and they would say, yeah, I'm going to solve your doubts, why didn't you finish these things? And they would like kind of try to blame me for things that I have not done, like blame me for nothing, like for being absent for at like 3 weeks back or something like that. So yeah, and at the end of the day, it's not their liability. Your syllabus completion is not their liability, even though they have every coaching or every tuition is going to promise you that they are going to take the responsibility of finishing your syllabus. But once you get in, once they get a candidate, they don't really care. Most coachings, this is what I'm saying. For me, I was a commerce student, but still, it was still this messed up. So for the people who were from JEE and NEET, I saw their dreams crushing right in front of me. People get into these coachings because that feels like the safest option. So I always went for the things that society told me to do, and somehow everything still went wrong. Oh shit, my voice is not being recorded.